Hey, John. I'm going to start it in just a second, and then I'm going to bring you on right away.
Okay. Hello, James.
Hello, John. You look spiffy.
Well, I'm going to Majorelle for dinner tonight with Kate and the boys.
Very nice. I'm sort of dressed for it too.
Are you? Well, come visit us, but you'll be sitting outdoors.
I love it. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a minute.
They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stars in the House. It's me, by myself, James Wesley. But the very beginning, because Seth is going to be live from CBST, that's the Gay and Lesbian Synagogue that's in Midtown. And he's last year on Stars in the House, it was all virtual, but this time it's virtual and live. Everyone vaccinated in the audience, masked. As safe as you can get these days. But first, we're so fortunate because Dr. LaPook is here. It's Kate Lear's birthday. Happy birthday, Kate. But John very graciously said, we're doing the show at this weird time. We've never done it at 6:30 before. And so it worked out perfectly. So please welcome to Stars in the House. And I know I have questions and there's a lot going on since the last time he was here. Please welcome Dr. John LaPook.
Hi, James. I love that Seth is involved in a Hebrew event.
Yes. Here's the problem. I'm not Jewish. I have a lot of Jewish friends. I've had Jewish boyfriends, and I'm married to a Jewish man. However, I have the hardest time saying it. What CBST stands for. So it's Congregation. I'm going to mess it up. Congregation Bet Simchat Torah. Does that sound right?
Well, that's good. You got a good like chutzpah challah.
Okay.
The color purple. You don't want to do it too much, right? That would be inappropriate to say the color purple.
And see, I tend to do it too much. So anyway, so that's where Seth is, and tonight I'm actually going. We were invited by Kristen Chenoweth. She's doing a big Christmas show at the Met, and I've been to the Met one time in my life, and so I know that you're supposed to wear a jacket when you go there. So. Yeah. That's what I'm doing, and I'm
take the price tag off of it. You don't want to be Minnie Pearl.
Absolutely, and I'm old enough to know who that is. Yes. So anyway, thanks for coming on. I feel like, in a way, I know that we're not at the beginning of all this, but because of the rapidly changing the news every day about the new variant, I feel in that sense that we're at the beginning. Even though I know we're not.
Yeah.
What can you? It's been 2 weeks, which, like I said a second ago, feels like forever.
Eternity.
Yeah. What can you tell us about what's happening?
First of all, like James, big picture, people who are fully vaccinated and boosted, and who understand the various layers of protection. So mask wearing, ventilation, filtration, outdoors safer than indoors, washing your hands, physical distancing, testing.
Yes.
Those people are in really good shape. I mean, a lot of this, think about a year ago. We didn't have the vaccines. That's a huge thing. We didn't at the very beginning of the pandemic understand about the different layers of protection. We certainly didn't understand about the importance of ventilation and filtration. So first of all, since we all hate being out of control, big breath, we have a lot more tools at our disposal. I think the big Omicron. Look, it's a picture that's changing. What I'm hearing, what it looks like is so far could change tomorrow. We're all used to that now. Right. So far, it's very contagious. It's able to spread very quickly. In the UK, it's spreading very quickly. It's in the United States right now. It's likely to spread quickly here. But so far, it seems like it's less virulent. It's less likely to cause hospitalization death in a single person than, say, the Delta. However, if it's so infectious and it goes through the population and infects a high number of people, even if it has a lower rate of causing hospitalization and death, you're still going to see a big spike just from the pure numbers of it all. You know what I mean? So
Right.
the bottom line, if you're out there and you haven't been vaccinated, please, unless there's a really amazing reason, get vaccinated. If you have not been boosted yet and you're eligible, then get boosted. I mean, that we know that the protective titers go up dramatically. What I would say right now with the holidays coming, we're about 2 weeks from, well, a little less, I guess, from Christmas.
Yeah.
Then a little more than 2 weeks from New Year's. People are wondering, how do you get together with your families in a safe way? And I think you start with those layers of protection I just mentioned that we've been talking about for years. And then on the other is your risk tolerance. So I'm somebody with a very low risk tolerance. And, you know, I see patients who have compromised immune systems. I don't want to unknowingly pick up the virus and
Right.
spread it to them without knowing. So I have a very
Right.
low risk tolerance. So I do all those steps. If I'm going to a party, what I would want would be everything. You know, I would want to know everybody's boosted. I would want to know there's testing as close to the front door as possible. If the best would be, you know, right outside the front door.
Yeah.
You do the 15 minutes, boom. And now remember that, and the FDA and the CDC, I think today put out a thing saying repeat the rapid test in 24 hours or 36 hours if you're using it for diagnosis. Because remember, you could have it's not as sensitive as a PCR, but the point is it's pretty good at finding out if you have enough virus in your nose or in your system to infect somebody else. But don't feel scot-free just because you had a negative fast test. You should test again in 36 hours is what one of them, you know, for example, the Abbott Binax Now says test again, I believe it's in 36 hours. So that's really important.
No, I think it's definitely, if you're able to afford them in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, we live on the Upper West Side, and I pass by, just going, 10 blocks away, I passed by 3 mobile stations, and there were the longest lines that I've seen today.
Yeah.
Since we've moved back to the city September 1st. So people are testing, but here it is affordable in the sense if you're willing to stay in the line and you can get it done. But there does seem to be a misconception that you can test 48 hours ahead of time with an rapid antigen test and you're okay. And I think that that's created, like when Seth and I went to Greece in July, and Delta Airlines, they were like, as long as you test 48 hours or 72 hours ahead of time, you're fine. We knew that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But that seems to have spilled over with
Yeah.
shows
And
on Broadway and other things, and breakthrough infections are happening.
It's a matter of logistics. So I think you're better off if you're going to test 48 hours in advance. It's better if it's a PCR, because that's going to be more sensitive, and hopefully that'll be sensitive enough to pick it up if you're infectious 48 hours later. Might not be 24. If it's going to be an antigen test, to me, 72 hours in advance with an antigen test is, it's better than nothing, but it's a little bit rolling the dice. And then you have to say, who are we talking about? Are we talking about people who are of your similar risk profile, which is something that I think people need to think about? Who are you hanging out with? If it's somebody who was just, in a bar 3 days ago without a mask, shouting 2 inches from somebody, that's different from somebody who is, say, for example, older, more conservative about where they go, and more careful. I will say, and then I know probably you're going to want to move on. I think this is a time when it's getting to be a little late for people to get vaccinated and boosted in terms of being protected in time to be together with your family. So I would say where we are right now is there's a lot of families with differences in approach, right? Some people are vaxxed, they're not vaxxed, they think this is overhyped, whatever it is. I think the best you can do now is to communicate. So if you're going to get together, calmly, empathetically, kindly, inquire, have a conversation with the people you're going to be in the room with, and find out what's their story. Have you been vaccinated? I'm not trying to change your mind. Are you vaccinated? I need to know my comfort level, and I need to know what I'm going to do. Are you vaccinated? You were vaccinated? Fine. You got a boost? Did you get a booster? No. You got a booster? Yes. How long ago did you get the booster? You want it to be 2 weeks. A week it's pretty good. 2 weeks is better. Where have you been recently? And then you can make your decision that, okay, I don't feel comfortable. I'll meet you outdoors. Maybe I feel comfortable, more comfortable with a mask. maybe we won't eat together in the same room. You know, we talked about this a year ago. There's this thousands of year old tradition. You eat together. Well, you can't eat without, you know, taking your mask off. So, you know, maybe considering how quickly I eat, I can eat a dinner in 4 minutes, you know, eat that dinner. So maybe you go outside with a plate, eat it, you know, put the mask on, go back indoors. But I think people need to not be judgmental. Some people may be wearing masks. Some people will not be wearing masks. I would say in general, up your mask game. You know, if you can get an N95, KN95, that's better than just a cloth mask alone or even a surgical mask. But you wear the best mask that you can wear.
John, one last question before you go, because I read the very eye-opening article, I guess it was in the Washington Post, about saying that 1 in 100 people over 65 in the United States have died of COVID. And in 2020, it was the third leading cause of death.
Imagine that.
Do we know the statistics yet regarding the booster and how? And we know that it's obviously, especially for anyone 65 and over, especially that population, that they should get the booster. But do we know the numbers?
Well, in Israel, it dropped mortality 90%.
Wow.
So that booster, you know, it turns out it's a 3-shot for the mRNA. It's a 3-shot.
It's what you've been saying from the beginning, basically.
Yeah, we had kind of been saying that, but it was also humility. You know, like, I don't know. Let's see. It's a new vaccine. But hepatitis B is a 3-shot vaccine. You know, the tetanus, you know, Tdap or DTaP. HPV vaccines, a 3-shot. There are a lot of other examples of that. So it's not surprising. Are we going to need one booster every now and then? Maybe, but it could be kind of come in with the flu, with the regular flu shot. Maybe they'll combine it. But stay tuned. But I think I want to leave people with, I'm optimistic right now. I mean, I think there's going to be a spike in illness because the flu season's hitting. We're going indoors. It's cold. People are fed up. They're taking more chances. We understand all that. But for those of you who are out there who have done everything you're supposed to do, I would say keep doing it. Don't let your guard down right now. But if you do, I've had a bunch of breakthrough infections mostly in younger people in the last 10 days.
Yeah.
They've all done pretty well. The people who were vaccinated and boosted, I had one person with a fever of 102 for a day and then fine. The other ones are sniffles, colds. And that's the last thing I'll leave you with. When you're about to go into with other people, if you have, I have a little allergy, I have a little sniffle, I think it's just no. Test yourself first, and before joining them, because that could be COVID. We know that 50 to 60% of COVID is spread before people get symptomatic. They may never get symptomatic, or it's before they get symptomatic. So I think we're past that. Oh, I thought it was just a cold, going on, and hanging out around other people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Have a wonderful dinner, you and your family, and happy birthday to Kate.
All right. Take care.
All right. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, everyone. I know I needed to hear that. I just felt reassured hearing Dr. LaPook's voice. And this may happen. So here's the thing. I know that you can hear me. I have it on my phone because here in the city, we don't have we have a camera. It's the one that Seth uses for the concert series, but I'm on my phone, and this is not as good as Seth's phone. But I'm going to do my version of Chuffa, what Seth and I called the beginning of the show. And for those of you who don't know, this is going to be on a separate stream. I saw some of you in the comments and saying basically, what is this? And what is this is it's a check-in. Really, it was so I could talk to Dr. LaPook because I know he wasn't here last week. And like I said, it's been a lot going on. And I just knew I wanted to be reassured just hearing his voice and seeing him. So that was really my main reason for doing it at 6:30. And because it's 7 o'clock, that's going to be Seth's show. And because like I said, last year it was done online. And he's done it for a number of years for CBST. In fact, for those of you, I'm going to just read this. CBST, so you'll know what you're going to see. And by the way, it's going to, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the Stars in the House YouTube channel. So that's, you can just, when this is over in about 15 minutes, you can just kind of go right over to see the show, which will be great because we got Andrea Burns, Darius DeHaas and Tino Fontana and Leslie Kritzer. It's going to be amazing. I think they're going to all do about 3 songs each, which is going to be fantastic. But CBST, because that's going to be a fundraiser for the congregation, is a vibrant spiritual community and a progressive voice within Judaism. Founded in 1973, CBST attracts and welcomes gay men, lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, non-binary, queer, and straight individuals and families who share common values. Passionate, provocative, and deeply Jewish, CBST champions a Judaism that rejoices in diversity, denounces social injustice wherever it exists. They are so socially active. It's amazing. And strive for human rights for all people. So true. So that's coming up in, like I said, in about 10, 15 minutes. But I wanted to do my version of Chefa. And yes, of course, because I'm not used to doing the show at 6:30. And David is working with Seth today and at the congregation. And I know I'm leaving soon to meet Maria Didia, our friend who has helped us from day one on Stars in the House and with our Concerts for America. And I'm meeting her. And of course, I'm like talking to John LaPook, forgetting, I'm going to be really good and put it on live at 6:29. And then it's natural. I see him right there. And I'm like, oh, I can't just, I got to say hi to him. And then about halfway through talking to him, like, oh, we're live. And I just like, what am I going to do? So anyway, so thank you for letting me know, because I saw the comments. I'm like, yeah, I already know. Well, what are you going to do? Before I forget, next week's show is on Thursday, speaking of Kristen Chenoweth, because it's actually a celebration of her Christmas album. Next Thursday, December 23rd at 8 p.m. is going to be our holiday show. And we've got Ann Hampton Callaway and Liz Callaway. I have not had the nerve yet to ask them if they will put on the matching pajamas they did last Christmas Eve. This year it's going to be the eve before Christmas Eve. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm a little bit nervous, but maybe if someone's willing to donate a lot to the Actors Fund like we did last year, I think someone donated $1,000 in order to see them both in matching red pajamas. I'm sure that those women would do it again. And we're going to have Justino Diaz, who just was one of the honorees at the Kennedy Center Honors. And that's going to be broadcast on the 21st on CBS, and on the 22nd, he and his daughter, Natasha Diaz, a big Broadway star, they're going to join us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's going to be on the 23rd. So going back, and actually we had talked last week, because we didn't know if we were going to do the Sondheim tribute this week or not. We're going to do it in January. NH Collection, who did that big matching donation for us for the Actors Fund back in June when we had Guys and Dolls on, they're going to do another match at $5,000. So we're going to save it. We're going to really build up the Sondheim show to really try to get that match, and we're going to do that in January. So, but in the meantime, last Monday, Seth and I went to the NH Collection. I think I showed these last time. And weirdly, I don't know how this happened. We were in Us Weekly. It was just like for NH, it was like amazing. There's me and Seth, and there's our friend Maggie McDowell. And they put us in Us Weekly for the opening of the bar at NH Collection. And by the way, we did have an air purifier right next to us the whole time. And everyone had show proof of vaccination. And Jen Ways, who does our social media, and David, who's our tech guru, and they're both our associate producers. They put together this video that I wanted to show as a thank you to NH Collection. We're going to do another video when they are the actual, when they're the matching donors, but we wanted to show this. It's just a little bit of what Seth and I and Maggie did last Monday, December 6th.
Times many
Thank you, Jen and David. So we'll do another video for NH to say thank you to them, and that'll be next month when we do the Sondheim tribute. So we had last Tuesday, we did Glee. We had that great game night that Jenna Ushkowitz put together. And then the next day, we went to Sharon Gless's This Is the Book. And I know a lot of you ordered it. Those books, I believe, are going out next week. And she signed them. And Sharon had her very first book signing at the Strand Bookstore. Seth moderated. Basically, it was Stars in the House without the videos and without me up there. And I was happily in the front row. But here are some fun pictures. Me and Sharon. I just adore her. And here's Seth and Seth's sassy pose and start talking. And then surprise guest when there were a few people asking questions from the audience, and Scott Lowell from Queer as Folk came. And at first, Sharon, because I talked to Sharon the next day, and she was like, I knew it was someone from Queer as Folk, but I didn't know who because there was a distance there. He had the mask on, and let's just say he asked a dirty question. And I think then she did kind of know who it was. And then he pulled down the mask and she like screamed with delight, and they went and hugged, and it was so fun. You have got to get, apparently there were complaints. It is so fun. So that's my plug for our friend Sharon Gless, who's been such a great friend of the show. So that's Sharon. Okay. Yesterday, Seth does his concerts. It was going to be Jessica Vosk, and Jessica had I don't know if she had the flu, but she was like, I do not believe I have COVID, but I'm not feeling well. And can we reschedule? And we're like, sure. We do the COVID testing here before rehearsals and right when someone walks in, to do the concert. But we were like, sure. And that was like around 11 a.m. yesterday, Sunday. And we were like, okay, well, we're going to reschedule. That's fine. And then Seth and I were like, well, we could still do a concert today. And we went through the list, and Orfeh and Andy stood out as being two people who could be basically on a moment's notice, do it. Alan Henry from Broadway World said yes. Why not? And it was I won't say it was the best concert. It was the best concert that I've seen up close, up front, where it was both people. Andy and Orfeh are such great musicians. They do it on such short notice. They're such wonderful sports. And normally I worry about, this is the Mandy, because we go to the park. And by the way, you can see the raccoon there. You can see it a little bit better. No, you can't. There you can. If you look really closely, a raccoon in Central Park. Normally I like with the dogs, I'm like, I put the chair because they're upstairs and I don't want them to interfere. But Orfeh and Andy are such dog people. I would have to say maybe Orfeh is crazier about dogs than Seth, which is saying a lot. And I love dogs too, but she's over the top. And she was like, bring the dog beds down. And of course the dogs did not come down at all. They felt so confident that Orfeh loved them that they just stayed upstairs. So that's what they did. I did not have to block them. But it was a great show. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you one of the reasons it was so much fun is that they did Orfeh sang her big song from Saturday Night Fever. And after the cameras stopped and the live stream was over, Seth and Orfeh and Andy were still singing, and I videoed it. So I'm going to show that to you as like a closing thing in just a few minutes. So I told you about next week with their holiday show. Oh, and on this Sunday, with Seth, with the concert series, is Andrew Barth Feldman. And Julie gets home from college on Friday for the winter break. And she's going to meet, we're going to be here in the city for the weekend. And she's going to meet, and so am I, Andrew Barth Feldman for the first time, because Julie met him virtually last summer of 2020 when she was hosting Plays in the House Teen Edition. And Andrew was in the very first play. And so they're going to finally meet in person, which is going to be fun. So that's this Sunday. And also this weekend is Seth's final weekend of Broadway Breakdown. So that's coming up. I think, let me look at my list, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I'm thinking that we're going to do The last week in December, we're going to do a couple of game nights like we did last year as sort of our pledge drive to help fund the show. StreamYard is fantastic and Staging Concepts is fantastic, but it takes, even though we're doing the show only once a week, we still want all of our expenses and to be completely taken care of, so that every penny raised continues that we raise here on the show goes to the Actors Fund when we're doing an Actors Fund night, which is not tonight, but what we normally do. So we're going to probably do a couple of game nights that last week in December. I think that's it. Looking for my phone. But I'm going to show you the video. Like I said, it's so fun. And then you just go over to the other link on our YouTube channel and watch the show with Darius and Andrea and Santino and Leslie Kritzer. Okay, so here's the video that I took last night. And then I'm going to go into the end credits, and then I'm going to go and meet Maria Didia, and we're going to go see Kristen Chenoweth at the Met. Looking for my phone. Here is the video, which I do believe will show. Okay, bye everyone.
Yeah, we're doing it right. Second games, having good times. Can't blame us for having a good time.
Lights on Broadway,
Singing songs, doing rock. Don't care, gonna tell what it's all about.
all nights on Broadway.
Disco, baby.